Dear friends, good day and welcome to the fourth episode of our Learning Bach series, in which we will have a look at the last two movements of Johann Sebastian Bach's Capriccio on the departure of his beloved brother. If you've been following the program, you may remember that this marvelous piece by Bach is articulated in six movements, the first four of which actually tell a story. Allegedly, the first movement represents all the friends of this departing brother, trying to convince him to stay. The second movement is a representation of the danger that he may encounter in foreign lands. The third movement is a general lament of his friends and was the subject of the last episode. And the fourth movement is supposed to represent a gathering of the friends, which, seeing that this guy is really going to leave, they bid him goodbye. And at this point, the narrative by Bach ends. But the piece does not end. There are two more movements, which is what we're going to talk about today. The fifth piece is called Aria di Postiglione, and it is a very beautiful little canzonetta, very, very simple, based on this melody. Now, things don't really get any simpler than that. It's a little scale going up, making a turn, and coming back down. However, the Postiglione was the postman, and he would probably announce his arrival in town with a little trumpet call, which Bach represents with a broken octave. Now, the entire piece is built around the dialogue between the little melody and the trumpet call. And to give you a clearer idea, let me play you just the first line. Now, as I said, the narrative that Bach gave us stopped with the fourth piece. However, we can perhaps imagine that as the friends are bidding goodbye the departing brother, the mail coach is approaching town from far away. Therefore, perhaps we should try and play this little melody very, very quietly, as if it is coming from far away. At this point, Bach asks us to repeat this little paragraph, shall we call it. And at this point, of course, the coach is coming closer, so we can give it a little more. The second half of the piece begins with a touch of sadness. Bach modulates into the key of G minor and tinges the music with a shade of melancholy. And then back comes the trumpet. Melancholy. And at this point, the postman goes quite crazy with his trumpet. Perhaps this is the last call. It's telling the people, hey, if you want to send something, you better come and see me right away, because this is what the music does. And then, of course, he leaves. We have a repeat sign here also. So if you want to be a little bit creative, and we start the Aria di Postiglione very quietly, as if the male coach is approaching from far away, perhaps we should do the opposite effect at the end, pretending that he is going away. We're going to attempt to do it. And here it is, the Aria di Postiglione. Beautiful music, but it's not over yet, because it is at this point that we encounter what is perhaps the crowning glory of this marvelous Capriccio by Bach, the sixth and final movement, Fuga all'imitazione di Posta, which quite literally means fugue imitating the postman. Now we are just seeing that this trumpet playing postman has a very simple tune in this piece, basically just a broken octave. And of course this is not enough to write a fugue upon. And indeed, if some of you are wondering what a fugue is, let me try in a few words to try and explain it. The fugue is the most austere, the most severe form of music making, is century old, and it is basically the instrumental equivalent of a choir singing. If you think of a choir, you have sopranos who sing all the way up, altos who sing a little bit lower, tenors who sing a little bit lower still, and then basses who sing all the way down. Each of them are singing virtually the same melodies, but at different pitches and at different intervals. When we think of music as a melody with accompaniment, it's all very well and good, but this does not apply to a fugue, because in a fugue we have to think of several voices singing simultaneously and interacting with one another. In order to write a fugue, we need a main subject, and Bach here gives us a rather robust, almost military in style one. This is the main subject, which at this point, as soon as it finishes, it's repeated, in this case by the tenor a little bit lower, and this very same line, however, sings or plays what is called a counter subject, which serves to accompany the main subject when it's being played somewhere else. And here we have the Stroke of Genius by Bach. The trumpet call was not enough to write a fugue, but it was enough to write a counter subject, which sounds like this. If we put it together, it sounds like this. This, in very simple terms, is the idea of a fugue, a wonderful connubium of all the voices singing, or in this case, playing together and making gorgeous music. Now, all of these voices, of course, are moving according to some very strict rules, which are rather complicated. But here and there, composers are given a little bit of freedom in those episodes that are called divertimenti. Now, those are portions of music in which we don't hear the principle, the main subject of the fugue, but we hear variation of some sort of another. A good example is this. At this point, the principal subject comes back, and something very interesting happens because the various entrances are closer together, a little bit tighter. It's what is called a stretto, and it signals the end of the piece, which in this case is rather triumphant. Thus ends Johann Sebastian Bach's Capriccio on the departure of his beloved brother, and with it today's episode. But before we go, many of you are asking about my practicing methods, so in the next few days I will record a practice session, and perhaps I will share with you some of the problem solving technique that I have to adopt pretty much every day in doing this most marvelous of professions. Once again, thank you all so very much for following the program and my project, and until next time, goodbye.